Hello everybody, thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to another video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ani and today's video is going to be about books I read in the month of July. So this is my July wrap-up. The first book I read in the month of July is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and if you're familiar with Booktube, you already know this book has been going around on Booktube for a while now. So it is a small town contemporary romance about a girl. She's actually a literary agent named Nora who goes on vacation with her sister, younger sister, to North Carolina and ends up running into this broody, bookish guy who also happened to be another literary agent. And guess what? They actually know each other from the city and don't really like each other that much. So like I said, this is a, the small town contemporary romance. This was such a delight to read. I absolutely loved it. I gave it a 5 stars. And this is actually my second book by this author, Emily Henry. I read Beach Read earlier this year and I enjoyed that one so much as well. So that's the reason I picked this one up, and I would say no regret. I highly recommend it. The next book I read is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book to the Six of Crows series. This is a duology, and this is actually my second series by this author. The first one was Grisha series, and I absolutely loved it. That's why, I wanted to give this one a chance. However, this one actually did not live up to my expectations. The first book, of course, if you watch my June wrap-up, you will see that I talk about the book a little bit there, and I was hoping to get more out of this. So this book is, of course, a YA fantasy. It's about a boy named Kaz and his team who they're actually out for revenge and trying to fight these dangerous drugs that are usually used against Grishas, who's their Grishas are like these they're like witches. They have powers and such. So like I said, yeah, I was expecting more from this book. However, I did like it. I did like seeing what did happen, how the first book ended and what did end up happening in this book. So I did get some answers that I was looking for. However, I only gave 3 stars because it did not, like I said, live up to my expectations. The next book I read is The Lost World by Michael Crichton. This is pretty much the second book of the Jurassic World, following, this is actually 4 years following the Jurassic World incident. And of course, if you watch my last wrap-up video, the June's wrap-up video, I raved about Jurassic World. That's the reason I had to get this one right away and read it. I had high hopes for this book, and guess what? It met all of those expectations. This book was so good. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So this is about, other than dinosaurs, is about some of the dinosaurs from Jurassic World, after it got destroyed. Some of them actually did survive and were habitating in a nearby island and roaming free. So the main idea was to get those dinosaurs back to the main island, and of course there were some samples were stolen from InGen Lab in the first book, so we're also following that story as well and what happened. So, but like I said, this book was so good. I had to stay up at night and to read it to see what actually happens next. I usually am out by 10:30. But no, not for this book. Apparently I could stay awake even longer than 10:30 p.m. It was so good, so worth it. I highly recommend this book. The next book I read is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This book is a YA fantasy and about a romance as well, and it's about a 17-year-old art student in Prague named Karu, who has this ability that she's trying to find out about her as well, supernatural abilities, and about her past. And she's raised by chimeras, and she works for the chimera by fetching teeth for them, like teeth of animals or dead humans and such. where the teeth is she actually uses it to exchange for wishes, and wishes is how she learns about her, abilities and stuff. So, like I said, this is a YA fantasy, and it has, at one time it was like highly recommended book on Booktube, hence the reason I picked it up. I'm like way late, but I wanted to give it a try because, I heard good things about it. I was not impressed. Like, it took a long time for this book to pick up. It was like nothing happened until like the last 100 page, in my opinion. It was just dragging it. There were like so many nonsense. I don't know if my tastes have changed or something. I don't know. And this book is pretty old. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, it was not like, I was not feeling it. Like I said, nothing happened until the last 100 page of this book. So I'm contemplating if I even want to read the series. Like, I have questions that I want answers. Like, I did like the ending and I want to know more. But at the same time, I'm like, is the next book going to be same as this one? Like, nothing happens for another, until the last 100 page or something. So I'm not really sure if I want to continue. I'm still thinking about it. I may not get the book, the second book. And there's like 3 total books. So I would still have to read the next 2 books. Does it get better in the second book? I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I give this book 3 stars only because I liked the ending, but I didn't like the entirety of the book. So yeah, we'll see if I want to continue the second book or not. The next book I read is, of course, Fledgling by Octavia E. Butler. And if you watch my channel, you know how much I love Octavia E. Butler's books. They are just absolutely amazing. The things she writes about are so bizarre, like things we don't really want to like talk about. So I like it. I like, her concept. So if you didn't know, this is a sci-fi. It's about a 53-year-old woman who is actually a genetically modified vampire, and she has no idea what she is or where she's from. So she is actually trying to find out about her past and, like, of course, what she is. This book definitely was very, like, it was weird. There are, like, I don't think it will be like everyone's, taste, I guess I would say, because it may bother some people. But like I said, that I know I've read enough of Octavia E. Butler's books to know that she writes, books about weird things. So yeah, so I liked it. I loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was just so good. So yeah, it was just good, worth every ounce of my time. And I if you have never read her book before, I definitely recommend starting with Kindred. Yeah, it may get you hooked. The next book I read is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. This book has been, talked about so much. Like, I've read such good things about it. I had to pick it up, and I'm so glad I did. This was so good. So good. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So this is a mystery thriller, about, there's first, this is about a journalist and a female hacker trying to find a killer of a woman who actually has been dead. The woman has been dead for like 40 years. So of course, like I said, mystery thriller, and there's like talk about like finance and, crime related to it, and of course like politics, murder. Like I said, it was so good. Every time I thought that, oh, this is where the book should have ended, no, there was like, another 20 more pages like of, suspense and, what happening. Like I was, yeah, my emotions were like all over the place. It was so good. I loved it so much. I will definitely be continuing the series for sure. Okay, the next book I read is Hollowpox, The Hunt for Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is the 3rd book of the Nevermore series. If you didn't know that, well, of course, I read the first 2 books and I really liked it. So I wanted to continue this. So it is about a girl named Morrigan Crow, how she's supposed to die on the Eventide day on her 11th birthday because she's a cursed child. And of course, she goes away to a different place called the Nevermore, where, you know, things start to change for her in a good way. So this is, of course, the continuation of, you know, her learning her, you know, supernatural abilities that she has, how to control them, and learning how to use them and such. So I don't want to give away too much if you haven't read the book yet, but I was looking forward to reading the third book because yeah, I thought this would be like the last book, so I kind of wanted to, you know, just get like know the ending of it, and other than that, like what does happen after the second book. So I feel that this one was better than the first book. I believe I gave 4 stars, maybe 4.5. I can't remember, but yeah, this one was definitely better than the last one. However, I was looking forward to the ending, but found out that there's actually going to be another book, so I guess I would have to wait for another book, but definitely will be continuing this series. So the next book I read is Upgrade by Blake Crouch, and this is his newest release of this year. It was released last month, and of course I had to snag it. I love Blake Crouch and his books. So I have a blog on it. I'll link it in the description below, but I won't go too much into detail. But it is about a man who has been genetically modified or upgraded, actually. So it is, you know, his story of like what he's going through and things he's trying to find out. So of course, this is a sci-fi thriller. And this is very heavy on science, like, you know, like biology and stuff like that. So if you're something you don't like, you like sci-fi, but you don't like a lot of, you know, things you avoided in school pretty much, I wouldn't recommend this book. But I didn't feel like this was his best book for me. You know, it was still impressive by all means, like as all of his writing. Like I am always surprised by the things he writes and comes up with. Like it's amazing, but a lot of the stuff I didn't, you know, I didn't enjoy this book as much as I thought I would. That's pretty much what it is, you know. So I did give 3.5 stars. I did not hate it. It wasn't like, okay, it was good. I liked it. I just didn't love it. So yeah. Okay, the next 2 books I read are classics, and the first one is Emma by Jane Austen, and the second one is Persuasion by Jane Austen again. So again, I have a vlog on these 2 books. If you want to check it out, I'll also leave the link in the description below. So let's talk about Emma first. It's so, you know, if you didn't know, it is about a girl named Emma who is pretty much a matchmaker, and everybody in her town or village always, you know, coming up to her for, you know, hoping that she will set so-and-so up with so-and-so. So I thought I was gonna love this book, but I did not. I gave it 2 stars. It was that bad. Like I was so annoyed at the character Emma. Yeah. I have a vlog, like I said. I will not go into too much detail, but I did not enjoy this book at all. She was just so annoying. Like just, yeah. And then there's Persuasion. It is about another girl, of course, named Anne. She's the middle sister of the 2, and of course she's got these 2 annoying sisters and an oblivious dad. And Anne happened to be the, you know, smart one, of course, who was somehow persuaded to not to marry Frederick Wentworth because he was not in the class that, you know, he was supposed to for Anne to be married to him. And, you know, like, of course, what's like happening, that this is pretty much that book is about. But this one I definitely enjoyed way more than Emma. I did give it 3.5 stars, and like I said, I have a vlog on it, so definitely check it out. Definitely worth reading, I would say. So the next book I read, I don't have a physical copy because I missed out on purchasing it on Amazon Prime Day, but it is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And this book is, I believe it was like Book Talk's pick, if I'm not incorrect. So it is about an orc named Vib who decides to, you know, like hang her swords up for good, you know, end her fighting days and open her dream shop, which is a cafe. And of course, it is about her, journey throughout the process of it, and, friendship and frenemies. It was just high fantasy with low stakes. Like everyone says, it's a chill fantasy book, just as it is. It was just so delightful to read. I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I'm still bummed that, like one of those books that I want to own. However, I believe it's coming out in October or November, something like that. So yeah, definitely going to purchase the book for sure. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend. And the very last book I read is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This book was just so weird. I had no idea what it was about. I just like went into it not knowing. It was like purely a cover read for me. So probably that's why it was like so weird and I was so confused. But it is about a man named Alex who is a retired soldier. He finds out, he gets a message saying that his childhood friend Madeline is dying. So he comes over to his hometown and finds out that the entire place is like, or where the friend lived, is covered by fungal growth and like possessed wildlife, surrounding this dark lake. And he finds out that his friend Madeline is sleepwalking and speaking in a complete different voice at night. Sounds creepy. Like I said, this book was very strange. I never read a book by this author before, so it's something I wanted to check it out anyway. And like I said, it was a cover read, and I thought I knew what the book was going to be about. Every time I would be like, oh, I think that I know what's going on. I was wrong. I still enjoyed the book. It was just so different. That's why I gave it 3 stars, because yeah, like I still found it, this to be interesting. After I read the book, I read some reviews and people were saying that, this is very like Edgar Allan Poe. So I never read an Edgar Allan Poe's books before, so I couldn't compare, but yeah, just I would think that probably has something to do with being very strange, which I know is what, Poe used to write. So that is it for my July wrap-up video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what were your books that you read in the month of July. And of course, as always, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and come see me again soon. Thank you for stopping by, and as always, take care.